Are you prepared for what's coming in the music industry within the next 6 months to a year? There's a major storm brewing, and if you aren't prepared for it, you are basically done. In this video, I'm gonna tell you all about this storm and tell you exactly what you need to do to beat it. So this may be the most important video of mine that you watch this year. So it's really important that you watch all the way to the end because I'm going to tell you exactly how to fix this problem. So to explain the storm that's coming, let me take you back a few years before the pandemic. So pre-pandemic, the music industry was already in a turmoil. It was very competitive, and you had most musicians that were jockeying for the same types of gigs, like these club gigs and all of that. And the pay was substantially low, where 50 to 75 to 100 bucks was kind of the average for the gig. And while all of this was going on, streaming started to take flight. So the way that people quickly started consuming and buying their music was on the streaming platforms like Spotify and all of that. And it made it really extremely difficult for musicians to not only get known and get their music out and stuff like that, but really make any sort of serious money. And also during this time was the sort of beginning stages of this whole new creator economy thing that we're in. And business forecasters were starting to label this economy as the next big thing. And they were forecasting that it would grow exponentially over like the next 10 or 15 years. Now, that brings us to the point during the pandemic. And we all remember what happened to the music industry during the pandemic. It basically came to a complete stop. Musicians lost their jobs. No gigs were available, from, club gigs to cruise ships to church gigs and all of that. And some musicians even lost their day jobs. But what happened is people started working from home, and the way that people started making money drastically and quickly changed. So that made this whole creator economy thing really skyrocket. So the growth that they were saying that was going to happen probably in 15 to 20 years skyrocketed, and it fast forwarded about 5 to 7 years. And basically what that means is that where we are now in the creator economy is where they were projecting us to be in about 2029, maybe 2030. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, and it's where this big storm or problem that I'm talking about comes in. So now we're kind of in this post-pandemic era, and we're sort of at a new normal, but the same clubs, the same venues, and all of this kind of stuff aren't paying any more money. They're still paying the same types of $75, $50, $100 gigs and all of that, but the cost of living has significantly increased. So the price of everything has gone up, like everything from like eggs and groceries to like your streaming services like Disney Plus and Max and Netflix and all of that, not to mention gas. So here it is. You got this situation where even 5-10 years ago, musicians were struggling with this type of money and this type of music industry that they were in, yet this has stayed the same, but the cost of living and everything that you have to pay is significantly more. And now with all of the AI and other technology coming into the fold, this discrepancy that we're talking about between these two things is going to drastically and quickly get worse within the next 6 months to a year. Because people have realized the value of the creator economy, and they're getting in on it in droves. And they're projecting that within the next 6 months to a year, it's going to reach a saturation point in an industry. And even the game itself inside this creator economy that we're talking about is changing. Everything now and going forward is going to be about attention. We as musicians and artists and bands are going to be competing for attention more than anything else. Most musicians just think that other bands and other musicians and stuff like that are their competition. But now it's not just about these other bands. It's about everything in this creator economy. And it's about Netflix. It's about Disney Plus and all of that, because all of these entities are competing for attention. Okay, so you're saying, Terrence, I get it. This is a problem. I see it too. It's happening. What do we need to do about it? Well, the good news is there still is a way for you as a musician, you as an artist, as a band, to make all of the money that you want, live your dreams, and be successful. But it is extremely crucial that you follow exactly what I'm about to tell you. I'm about to give you 5 things that you need to start doing today to beat this storm that's coming. Number 1 off top, you need to go all in on this creator economy starting today. You need to become a content creator. So those online guitar lessons, vocal lessons, bass lessons, piano lessons, or whatever that you've been thinking about doing forever, you need to start that today. And the reason behind this is because as a musician in this attention-driven world that we're in now, the only way that you're going to compete on that level for attention is through content creation. Nobody's going to show up for your live shows and all of that if you don't have some content out showing what it is that you do, showing what it is that you're about and what you stand for. And following that Instagram, TikTok, YouTube music channel that you've been thinking about doing, yeah, you need to get on that right now. And again, I can't stress this attention thing enough. If you want to get attention, you need to be on these platforms. This is where all of the eyes are now. Everybody is on social media, and this is where people are giving their time and their attention to. And again, if you're going to compete, if you want to make money, you want to be successful, you need to be dominating these platforms. And next, and this is really important, what you need to do as a band, musician, or artist is you need to raise your prices. You just cannot keep performing for these same pennies that you've been performing for the past 10 or 15 years. You need to grow financially, and the way that you do that is you need to start charging more. And if you don't do that, again, you're going to be putting out more time and more energy, paying for less, and then still having to pay for the cost of living, which is more, like I described. So at the very least, when this storm that I'm talking about comes and you're kind of caught off guard, at least you're making a little bit more money than you would have otherwise, and maybe you'll be okay. Now, another thing you need to do is you need to double or even triple your marketing efforts. I'm going to keep saying it. Attention is the game. And as long as that is the case, the more that you're in front of people, the more that what you do and you showing who you are is in front of people, the longer you can have their attention and the more likely you are to get hired, to get paid more, and all of that. And this is where you becoming a content creator comes in, because the more stuff that you put out, the more attention that you can likely get. Now, the next thing that I'll say about all of this is that it's really important that you do all of these things that I'm talking about correctly, because if you do it just haphazardly, it's going to be a waste of time. So what you want to do is go here right now and check out these videos about creating content so that you can learn how to do it effectively.